my brothers and sisters in the Lord. The doors say so much about the personality of a house or of any building. Some doors are very welcoming, they're open, they're brightly illuminated. These doors say, "Come in and rest for a while." Other doors are shut and locked. Their message is very clear: stay away. The doors of a church, the house of God, are the same. They can be warm, welcoming, and hospitable, or they can be shut tight, dark and cold. As I stand here today and look at the doors of Sacred Heart Church, I'm thinking of the thousands, and it must be thousands, of people who have crossed the threshold of this temple of God. Young mothers and fathers who brought their newborn children here to be baptized. Young couples who walked up this aisle to be married and declare their love for one another before a community of faith. So many who were brought through these doors for the last time for their Mass of Christian burial. These doors continue to invite. Yes, they continue to say, we're still in business. We're still open. And we continue to do what Catholics do so well. We gather around the altar, we break bread and pour wine, and we proclaim, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. Sacred Heart Parish continues to do battle with the forces of evil that surround us. The first reading today from the book of Exodus explains that Moses found himself confronting the enemy of his day, and God was with him, and God was with the people Israel. As long as Moses' arms were upraised or held out over the people, Israel had the best of the battle, the best of the fight. Moses was God's instrument, and Moses was a sign that God was with his people. Think of Sacred Heart Parish as the Moses of 2022. The spiritual battles that we wage today are going to define our mission and our purpose for the future. The EWTN Catholic station has a moniker, Live Catholic. Live Catholic. Be prepared to ensure that your religious liberties are preserved for the future. Live Catholic. We often find ourselves doing church a little different. 2022 is not 1871. But we are still a community of prayer that hears the challenge of today's gospel. Pray always, without becoming weary. 150 years is a long time. If the doors of this church could only speak, I wonder what they would say. You have seen history, and you have made history. You and those who have come before you. Sometimes we don't like the roads that history paves for us, but in the midst of all, Sacred Heart Church stands and is committed to preaching the gospel in season and out of season. Sacred Heart has never tired of serving the people of this neighborhood. As the letter of Paul to Timothy says in the second reading for today's Mass, we do what we have to do, whether convenient or inconvenient. Sacred Heart will always be concerned for all who come to these doors. If you are hungry, come and eat. If you are thirsty, come and drink. And if you need a little love, come for a hug. The doors remain open and welcoming as we continue to minister to the spiritual and physical needs of our parishioners and of our neighbors. I'd like to say just a couple words in Spanish. La celebración de hoy es una acción de gracias y alegría. La Iglesia del Sagrado Corazón lleva aquí 150 años. La Iglesia es Jesús y Jesús vino para servir. Espero que hayas encontrado un nuevo hogar espiritual en el Sagrado Corazón. Ahora estás haciendo historia como la gente que vino en el siglo pasado. Sigamos construyendo el reino de Dios. Hay desafíos, hay miedos y ansiedades, pero está Dios. Está la providencia de Dios. Padre Junípero Serra fue el misionero de los Californias y enfrentó muchos obstáculos increíbles. Él caminó desde la Ciudad de México, desarrolló una pierna lisiada. Él tenía un dicho, siempre adelante. So happy birthday, Sacred Heart Parish. Sacred Heart deserves, I think, that we put our hands together in a round of applause. Father Junipero Serra, Saint Junipero Serra, was a missionary to the Californias. And against great obstacles, he brought the faith to California. And he had a saying. In Spanish, it's siempre adelante. In English, it's always walk forward. And so with our hands together and our hearts where they should always be, let us all continue to walk forward in the grace and in the love of Jesus Christ.